52-14. It's a 6-1 start for the Detroit Lions. Now 8-0 when both David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs touch paint. The Lions take down the Titans for the first time since 1995. 6 different touchdown scores on 7 touchdowns as the Lions offense continues to run it up. Back in studio alongside the Mac Man, Joe Musso, your host. Mac, how does this Lions team take that physical brand of football that we think of being a defensive asset and apply it to their offense? Where does it make their offense even better?
Well, the offensive line, first and foremost. They have the best offensive line unit in the National Football League, I believe. And when you talk about being the best unit, it's not just about how they go about their business. It's about what they do when they're going about their business. They do so in a very, very physical way. That's why it's very, very difficult for opposing defenses to really, up their ante when it comes to being physical against the Detroit Lions, because you don't see that style of play week in and week out. And then when you factor in the running backs, they have the luxury of blocking for 2 different styles of back. David Montgomery is more of that physical bruiser. He leans on you. Jahmyr Gibbs is a one-cut runner with exceptional speed. So if you're not gap sound, either guy can carve you up. But if you over-pursue, you have a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs that can cut it back and take it to the house, and then comes the passing game. So the way they built their team from within, when you get like-minded guys on the offensive line, you got 2 running backs that coexist nicely in the backfield, and just being efficient and the effort. No question, this team is rolling. Yeah. We thought we saw an outstanding year a year ago, the Detroit Lions. This offense might be better than the team we watched last season. And they're doing so without Aiden Hutchinson. Once again, defensively, collectively, it's been a cast of guys that have been called upon to rush the passer. And so far, since that injury to Aiden Hutchinson, they've done a real good job.
25 touchdowns to just 19 incompletions over the last 5 games. 29 touchdowns to 19 incompletions over the last 5 games. It's going to be hard to beat this team. They're averaging 43 points per game over their last 4 games, Mac. Yeah. Where do you start to try and solve this Detroit team? Because if we're going to look for the teach tape, as we know Dan Campbell is in this game, are you seeing a weakness or an inefficiency in the absence of Aiden Hutchinson on the defensive side of the ball? There were productive drives early in this game for Tennessee if we are going to nitpick.
Yeah, and I think the concern would be, and I haven't seen it rise yet, would be, can they sustain the level of success they're having on the defensive front without Aiden Hutchinson? Right, you've been able to weather the storm, especially in today's matchup against the Tennessee Titans, and they're not a good team offensively, and you made them look as such. But can you have the same success against better teams in the NFC? Can you have the same success against playoff caliber teams without one of the best pass rushers in the National Football League in uniform? Remains to be seen, but right now what we're seeing is a bunch of guys that have gained extra confidence since the injury to Aiden Hutchinson, because they have done a phenomenal job collectively as a unit, putting consistent pressure on opposing quarterbacks. And don't forget about my guys in the back in the secondary. The last 2 weeks before today's matchup, it was Brian Branch coming up with big-time defining like interceptions. Joseph showed up today as well in the secondary. So all 3 levels, these guys are well coached. Aaron Glenn has done a phenomenal job coaching these guys up the effort, and they're just executing at an all-time high right now.
It was a shutdown after those early 14 from Tennessee. Mac, yes or no answer? Class of the conference, best in the NFC?
Yes.
Class of the league?
No.
All right.
I'm sorry. Class of the conference, yes.
I won't argue with you on either front. See one better team on the other side, maybe 2. The beauty of it all is we get to find out. Most points in a game in Lions history. They ran it up here on Sunday, and they called off the Dogs. This could have been far worse. It could have been record-setting here on Sunday. 52 hung on the Titans.